So you're at a very important time in your life and you're starting to think about all the things you could possibly do after high school. Therefore, a question you might be asking yourself is, why am I going to college? Why should I go? It's a huge decision to make, so you will want to consider a few different qualities. After you graduate, you will want something that makes you a decent amount of money, something from which you can learn a lot and get inspired, something that you enjoy doing, this is super important, something you can do well, and lastly, something that will make a difference. It could be on a large scale, that is, the entire world, or it could even be on a small scale, from a small community to a family to yourself. Let's start off by brainstorming what interests you have. This will help you pick a college and potentially a major. Sit down and take a piece of paper. Just list everything you like to do. It doesn't have to be academic in the slightest. Think really hard about it. At this point, you might want to pause the video. Okay, next, list all the things you're good at doing. Do not compare yourself to others. Just reflect on the activities that people have either complimented you on or things that you feel proud of doing. What comes naturally to you? Are you a good babysitter? Are you good with your hands? Do you build cool stuff or draw nice things? This list may or may not be shorter than your other one, but pause the video here and take the time to think anyway. Using your lists, start thinking about how many of these things can be combined. For example, if you like playing video games and you're good at math, you may want to consider computer science. If you like watching crime shows and you're good at talking to people, you may want to be a reporter. These are very loose examples, but feel free to get creative. Once you have some ideas, you'll want to see what kinds of jobs are available. This can be a challenge, so this is where the internet can be your best friend. There are a lot of good STEM career websites and similar resources, so just look up careers in a broad category, such as business, science, math, languages, and so forth. You can Google more specific careers. Say you like biology, but you don't know exactly what one does. Just search up what does a biologist do and see what happens. There are also a lot of sites that have a forum with Q&A, so explore to your heart's content. Once you have an idea of what you might like to do, find someone to talk to. It can be someone in your family or a friend, but you might want to talk to your guidance counselor and have them connect you to someone in that field. Alternately, this is what mentors, that's us, are here for. We can either be your connection or connect you to others in a particular field. So reach out and ask people if you can shadow them at their job, or if they're offering, see if you can get an internship or apprenticeship. This is often like a job but with training wheels, and that will help you see what kinds of expectations you can have about any particular job. Still have no clue what you're doing? That's fine. You can figure out a lot in college. If you're undecided, take a variety of classes in a variety of fields, which should either help you find something you really like or rule out the things you don't. Join lots of clubs and look at professional development programs. One thing that's really helpful is going to professors and guest speakers' talks and lectures. Sometimes they're called colloquia, and basically they talk about research that they do. There are a lot of different options, and you're going to find that every college is different. But if you keep an eye out, you will definitely find resources that will put you in touch with certain things that will give you a better idea of what you want. No matter what you decide, you're going to be amazing. So have fun and remember, you'll figure it out. You've got this.
Part of finding the right university or college for you is having a mental checklist of your interests. For example, do you want a research-based school? Do you want a rural or urban school? Do you want a school with a lot of people or with not a lot of people? All these questions should be considered while looking for a school. And I know this can be a lot to take in and can be very overwhelming, but trust me, once you know what you're looking for, it is very easy to narrow down your options of colleges. My best advice for you is to go on college tours to the colleges of your choice. This is the most helpful way to decide whether or not you like a college because it allows you to see the campus with your own eyes, not through pictures on a computer screen. For me, when I went on college tours, I always tried to envision myself on campus. If I wasn't able to imagine myself on campus, or I found it very hard to see myself living there for the next 4 years, I knew that it wasn't the school for me. And you might find a lot of schools that you don't think are right for you and are the right fit for you. But eventually you'll find your match. For me, my match was UConn. I knew UConn was the right fit for me because it not only had everything that I was looking for, but I already felt like I was at home. It was my home away from home.
If you spend any time looking into colleges, you'll know that there are thousands to choose from, which can be super intimidating. Luckily, it doesn't have to be. You can start by choosing a bunch of schools, say 30 if you're feeling ambitious. Set these up into 3 categories: reach, target, and safety. Reach schools are the Ivy Leagues, the ones that you might not necessarily get into, but hey, there's always the chance. This is Harvard, Yale, Cornell, Dartmouth. Basically, it's worth a shot to apply to one if you think you've got the grades, but no need to get down in the dumps if they turn you away. Which brings us to target schools. These are the schools that you not only really want, but also that you actually have a chance of getting into. Maybe it's your state school, or maybe it's that really nice looking liberal arts college a few states away. But whatever it is, you can be sure that you'll most likely get into it. Lastly, there's safety schools. This may be your local community college or some other college that has fairly low test score requirements, high acceptance rates, or anything of that nature. Basically, you could apply to one of these and get in without lifting a finger. Now that you've divvied up your schools, it's time to start narrowing down. Think about where the school is located. Would you rather live next to a city or be able to walk down the road and see rolling hills? Do you want there to be 1,000 people or 10,000 people? How about the major you're choosing? If you're going in undecided, it's helpful to look at the other majors offered so that you can have an idea of what you might lean toward. For instance, if you're considering engineering but you're still undecided, it might be better to stay away from tech schools since their focus is more on the sciences and they won't be able to help you as much if you change your mind. Next, there's what you want out of school. College will have hundreds of extracurricular activities and clubs for you to participate in, so it's worth looking into what things they'll have for you to do when you're not in the classroom. Next, there's the people. Do you care about the guy-to-girl ratio? What sort of atmosphere are you looking for in terms of the way people act? You can find this out by talking to the students there, whether it be through email or talking to the admissions office. Lastly, there's food. It may not be top of your list, but choosing a school that offers plenty of healthy food options is important. Now that you've picked what schools you want, it's time to try turning those reaches into targets. When taking tests, the obvious advice is study, 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 but in reality, there's more ways to succeed than just looking at a book for hours on end. For one, there's plenty of online resources, such as the SAT question of the day. You can also talk to your teachers after school to get extra help, or to see if they have any advice for you for the bigger tests. Then, there's the SAT and ACT prep classes for if you feel really unsure. But, at the end of the day, they won't make or break you, so don't freak out if you don't have the time or can't afford to attend these classes. Finally, if you still need study tips, look no further than right around you. Your peers can be your best resource. Studying with others is a great way to build knowledge, and if you can teach someone else to do something, then that means you've got it down. Now that you've got test scores squared away, it's time to make sure you know how to get into the school of your dreams. Make sure to talk to your guidance counselor about what the best path to take would be. After all, they're there to help you. You can also see if they can help get you in touch with representatives or students from the school. And if you're lucky, some reps might come down to your school on their own. You can do research online, too, both through the website or on online forums. College Confidential is a great one. Chances are a question you might have has been asked there already. And then finally, if you have the money and the time, just go there. Going there will help you get a feel, but it certainly doesn't have to be the last resort. Well, good luck. It might seem like a lot, but trust me, millions of people have gone through this process, and I guarantee it'll all be worth it.
When doing college applications, most colleges will suggest at least 2 letters of recommendation. It is suggested that these letters of recommendations are not by your relatives. However, at least one is suggested to be someone who is a staff member at one of your schools. This could be a teacher, a principal, a teacher's aide, anyone who can speak on your academic abilities. However, this staff member does not have to be related to your major interest if you have one selected. Instead, you should pick a staff member who knows you well. Your second letter of recommendation can be from someone outside of the school setting. This can be a coach, a neighbor, anyone who could describe your personality, your skill, and your accomplishments. Secondly, you need to make sure you have enough time for whoever you choose to write your letter of recommendation. You should give them at least 3 weeks minimum, because remember, you don't want this to be rushed. You want the universities to see a good side of you. Lastly, if possible, waive your right to view the letter of recommendation. Waiving your right builds a relationship and trust with your admissions office because it shows that you are giving your full trust to those who wrote your letter of recommendation and that everything that is written on the letter of recommendation has had no bias effect by you. When writing your college application essays, it's important to focus on two things: the tone of your essay and the content of your essay. Unlike most high school essays, a college admissions essay is best written with a more casual tone. Although it's important to use basic grammar rules, a conversational tone will help the admission director get a better sense of who you are. The college application essay is the only time, besides interviews, which are often hard to schedule, when admissions can understand your personality. An informal tone will make the essay easier to read and even more enjoyable to write, so have fun with it. Essays that contain emotion and character will leave a good lasting impression. Also, it's important to think about what you want to say in an essay before you write it. Planning an essay beforehand makes it a lot more organized and easier to write. When answering college essay prompts, it's important to think about what makes you and your answer unique and different from everyone else. It could be something as simple as your family, or more complex as a life-changing vacation or an important experience in your life. Whatever you choose, make sure your college essay is all about you.